2023 is coming to a close already, which is frickin' insane. But that being the case, I'm going to give you guys my annual real estate prediction for the next year going forward. So this is my Canadian real estate, or I guess my Vancouver, Fraser Valley real estate prediction for 2024. But first, before we get into that, let's see what my 2023 prediction was on home prices. So to recap, I don't think interest rates will go up any higher than 0.5% or less and will likely come down by Q4 2023. I see prices in the Fraser Valley going down 5 to 8%, and I see prices in the Real Estate Board of Greater Vancouver going down 3 to 5%. And I do not foresee a massive wave of foreclosures. Now, I'm not saying there won't be any foreclosures. I think foreclosures for sure are destined to go up because we've been at ridiculous, like pretty well zero foreclosures in the last 2 years, but I do think that we won't see a massive catastrophic wave of foreclosures, at least not in 2023, maybe in 2024, maybe in 2025, but I don't see it happening next year. Wow, I looked fat and dumb in that video, but let's go over what actually happened in 2023 and how off my predictions were. So starting off with prices, I said that prices would go down 5 to 8% in the Valley and 3 to 5% in Greater Vancouver. So as of October, and I think these prices will likely go down a little bit more when we get the November stats and the December stats, but as of October, we are up 4.4%. So I said we go down 5 to 8 and we're up 4.4, almost exact opposite of what I said. And I said that we would go down 3 to 5 in the Valley and we're up 2.3% in the Valley. So I do think those numbers will come down by the end of the year, so I might be at least closer to being more right. But for now, that's what it is. And what's funny about this is when I made those predictions at the end of 2022, it was, this guy thinks the market's only going down 3 to 5%. He's a realtor. He's out to lunch. We're just getting started. And it's funny because I was bearish. Like, I wasn't bullish. I said the market was gonna go down, and I got met with so much of exactly what I just did right there, and ended up being wrong, and the market actually went up. So I was bearish, but I got flack for not being bearish enough. Like, that's where the market sentiment was at the back end of 2022. I also said interest rates were going to go up 5% or less. Was wrong there, as they raised rates 0.75%. And I said that we would see cuts at the end of the year, which obviously I was incorrect about. I also said that there wouldn't be a massive wave of foreclosures, and we would struggle to see, to get more inventory in 2023. And that was the one thing that I was correct about. Now, for 2024, as always, this is a prediction. Don't do anything based on what I'm predicting in this video, because I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And this is for entertainment purposes only. And by the way, guys, if you enjoy this content, please do subscribe. And if you want to chat one-on-one, maybe about buying or selling in my local market, first link in the description will get you there. So 2024, I think, is going to be way harder to predict than 2023. 2023 was already extremely difficult to predict, but I think there's a lot more black swan events, curveballs in play for 2024 than there were in 2023. Now, the economist for TD Bank, which I tend to broadly agree with most of what he says, he's a little bit more drastic than what I think, but basically he thinks that we're going to see a 10% price correction on a national basis by 2024. That's a massive, massive correction. That's like 15% in Vancouver and Toronto for the most part. And I do tend to agree with basically the timeline of what he thinks is going to happen. I don't know what to say about the numbers he's putting within that timeline. So I don't know about the numbers. I don't know about national basis or anything like that, but this is what I think is going to happen with prices in 2024. I think we're going to end the year slightly in the red, down maybe a couple percent. And I think basically what's going to happen is prices are going to come down for the beginning of the year. Maybe the first 2 quarters, we're going to see prices coming down. But then in the second half of the year, we're going to see a rally, and we're going to retrace most of the losses that we saw in the first half of the year and likely end the market the end of the year down 2 to 4% or something like that. Now, why do I think prices will rally in the back half of the year? Well, I think fixed rates have topped out, and I think they're now on their macro downtrend. Obviously there's going to be volatility. They're going to go up and down. There's going to be some months where it looks like the bond market is, going crazy and rising back up and so on and so forth. But I think overall the trend is now down for fixed rates. I think the Bank of Canada is done raising rates. If you go look at the chart for historical rate hike cycles in Canada, They typically raise, and then they go flat for a certain period of time before dropping the rates back down. We have now not raised rates for about 4 months. So we've been flat for 4 months. And by the end of Q2 2024, we have been flat for nearly an entire year at that point. And I think on a chart that's going to look very similar to other rate hike cycles we've had in the past. So that being the case, we'll have lower real estate prices, lower interest rates. Both of those things combined will spark a price rally in real estate prices. GDP has also been shrinking. We would be at 2 back-to-back quarters of negative GDP growth had they not revised the last report for Q2 2023 upwards. It came in at 0, I think, and then they revised it back upwards, which who knows if that's actually the case or if they're just doing that for political reasons. Who really knows? But regardless, we would have been in a technical recession had that not been revised up 0.3%. GDP per capita has now declined for 5 months in a row in Canada. And typically in recessions, which is what we would be in right now, a technical recession, they usually cut rates hard and fast. Sales volumes for 2023 were absolute crap, but I think we're past the worst of it now. I think for volumes, we're going to see more and more mortgage renewals come up in 2023. There's like $70 billion or something billion. A big number, billion, is up for renewal in 2023. And that being the case, there's a lot of people that want to move, that need more space, that have to move. But it's really hard to stomach going from 3% to 6.5%. Now, when they renew their mortgage to 6.5% from 3%, well, now there's not a lot of incentive for them to have to stay in that home. That's when these people are going to start listing and selling their homes. That's going to result in more sales, likely higher inventory, so on and so forth. So I think that, this will be the low for sales volume in regards to real estate transactions, and next year should be a little bit better. However, I still don't think we're going to see a massive wave of inventory that gets us back to historical levels. I also think that housing starts will continue to be garbage going into 2024, and this will put massive amounts of pressure on both prices and rents when we start getting into like the latter half of 2025, 2026, 2027, when all of these homes that should have been built do not exist, and we have an extra 2 million people living here. So to recap, I think we end 2024 slightly in the red, maybe 2 to 4%. Prices decline in the first half of 2024 and then rally in the back half. I think lower fixed rates. And I think, I'm going to throw a number out there. I think we cut interest rates 1% by the end of 2024. Better sales volume, more inventory, but maybe not a whole lot more inventory. We'll have to see what happens. Let me know what you think. Let me know how wrong you think I am, and I'm a greedy realtor trying to get sales here. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy the content. I'm that Agent Kelly. I'm making moves to move you. Peace.